Hey everyone, and welcome to this explainer. Look, losing a job is stressful enough on its own, right? The very last thing you need is to try and decipher some confusing bureaucratic maze just to get the support you need. So today, we're going to completely demystify the Montana unemployment insurance system. We're breaking down the exact steps to get your weekly certification right so you can secure your benefits without a single headache.
So, here's a crazy thought. Did you know that one tiny innocent typo, or just a simple misunderstanding of the rules, can literally freeze your unemployment check for weeks? No way, right? But it happens all the time. It's actually a super common frustration. People just assume they've done everything correctly, only to find their payment totally stalled because of a minor filing error or a missed deadline. But don't worry. I want to assure you right now, we're going to show you exactly how to avoid those hidden traps and keep your payments flowing smoothly.
Okay, let's dive into this. Here is our roadmap for today. We'll be covering 1. Introduction to certification. 2. Eligibility criteria. 3. The step-by-step process. 4. Common mistakes. 5. Real-world scenarios. And finally, 6. Additional resources.
Now, to actually make things easier for you, Montana totally modernized its digital setup. Back in late 2023, the Department of Labor and Industry ditched their clunky old platform for a slick new system called Muse. This central online hub, the UI Claimant Center, was specifically designed to kill off paper forms, give you a really nice mobile-friendly interface, and ultimately just make your weekly filing so much easier.
All right, let's start with Section 1, Introduction to Certification, the Basics. Now, you might be wondering, I already filed my initial claim. Aren't I good to go? Actually, scratch that. That is a huge misconception. Filing an initial claim, that just opens your account. It's like walking through the front door. To actually receive your money, you have to actively request payment every single week, proving to the state that you still meet all their rules. The Montana UI week always starts on Sunday and ends at midnight on Saturday. So you're always reporting on what you did during the prior week.
Moving right along to Section 2, Eligibility criteria, meeting the requirements.
So, the crucial point here is that you have to meet every single one of these requirements every single week. Yes, you have to be unemployed through no fault of your own and have earned enough base period wages. But week to week, you also have to be physically and mentally able to work, available to jump into a full-time job immediately, and actively applying for jobs. And here's the big one that trips people up. You absolutely must be registered with Job Service Montana. If you forget to register on montanaworks.gov within their timeframe or let your registration lapse, the state's automated system will flag you and pause your benefits instantly. We definitely don't want that.
Let's get into the action phase. Section 3, step-by-step process, filing your request.
I'm going to walk you through exactly what this looks like. Here is your weekly checklist. Step 1, you log in to uiclaimant.mt.gov. If you're completely new to this, you'll set up your login using an Okta profile, and they use a super secure service called id.me just to verify you are who you say you are. If you're an older user, you might actually need a specific letter ID they mailed to your house to link your old account. Step 2, just answer the weekly eligibility questions honestly, mostly yes or no. Step 3, log your active work searches. You have to make at least one good faith contact a week with an actual employer who has the power to hire you. And Step 4, report any hours you worked and whatever earnings you made. Okay, listen up, because this is absolutely crucial. Keep your job search log for 3 whole years. Seriously, the state actually does thousands of random audits every single year just to keep people honest. You can't just jot down applied for a job at the store. You need to record the actual business name, the specific person you talked to, the exact date, their phone number, and even the URL if it was an online application. If they audit you and you can't hand over those details, you could literally be forced to pay all that benefit money back.
Let's keep you out of trouble. Section 4, common mistakes, pitfalls to avoid.
And this brilliantly illustrates the absolute most common mistake people make, messing up how they report their wages. In Montana, the law says you must report hours and earnings for the week the work was performed, not when you get paid. It totally doesn't matter if your boss holds your paycheck for 2 weeks or even a whole month. If you swept floors for 3 hours on a Tuesday, you report those hours and the gross pay you're going to get for it on that Sunday's certification. Period.
Here's another major pitfall, and it's all about your work search. You know how you sometimes just browse online job boards, read the classifieds, or make a mental list of places you'd like to work? Yeah, that doesn't count. To actually meet your weekly requirement, you have to actively submit an application or hand a resume to someone who actually has hiring authority. It has to be a real, good faith effort to get a job. Oh, and you can't just use the same employer 2 weeks in a row to check the box, unless they specifically ask you to apply again.
So, what does this all mean? Let's look at Section 5,
real-world scenarios, putting it into practice.
Let's put ourselves in the shoes of someone trying to do the right thing. Imagine you're sitting at your computer on Sunday, and you think, well, I picked up a 4-hour shift on Thursday to help out a friend's business, but they aren't actually cutting me a check until next month. Do I really have to report it on my unemployment request this Sunday? I haven't even seen a dime yet.
The answer is a giant, definitive yes, for sure. You must always report those hours and your gross earnings on your weekly request for the week you actually did the work. If you wait until you get paid next month, you're going to trigger a massive system discrepancy. And honestly, it gets worse. Failing to report time worked but not yet paid is legally considered fraud, and that carries some really serious consequences. Just always report the hours when you work them, and you'll be golden.
All right, rounding the corner here, Section 6, Additional Resources, Getting Help.
If you ever hit a wall, please know there's a huge safety net waiting for you. Beyond just the website, Montana has some fantastic real-world support. Your local Job Service Montana offices are incredible. They're not just some bureaucratic building you have to register with. The folks there can actually sit down with you to write a resume, give you free access to computers and fax machines to submit your weekly claims, and walk you right through the digital system if tech just isn't your thing.
So grab your phone and snap a picture of this slide, or write this down. For your weekly filing, head to uiclaimant.mt.gov. For your job service registration, go to montanaworks.gov. If you absolutely need to speak to a real human being at the claims center, call 406-444-2545. The state even put up video tutorials on YouTube if it helps to watch someone else click through the portal first. And one last pro tip for you. Whenever you call or email them, always use your claimant ID number. Never, ever send your social security number.
See? Filing correctly truly doesn't have to be a nightmare. Keep that meticulous 3-year log of your active job searches, honestly report any hours the very moment you work them, and I promise this weekly routine will become an absolute breeze. But I want to leave you with this thought. How can you use these mandatory weekly work searches not just to check a box for the state, but to genuinely pivot towards your absolute dream career? You've totally got this.
Finally, just a quick note before we go. This explainer is intended for informational purposes only and is based on the policies current as of August 15, 2026. For the absolute most up-to-date information, please consult the official Montana Department of Labor and Industry website or speak directly with one of their representatives. Thank you so much for hanging out and learning about this system with me today, and best of luck on your reemployment journey.